So I was having a heart to heart with my husband yesterday, and I told him that I am mentally, physically, and emotionally done with nursing. And he's like, I thought that that's what you always wanted to do. I know you complain about it, but is it really at that point that you feel as though you want to leave? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can do it anymore. Like, it's so taxing on your mental health because it's like sometimes you have to choose between your mental health and going to work. And I don't feel as though that's some kind of compromise. You shouldn't compromise your mental health for anything because why should you do that? I mean, I do love nursing. I love what I do, but I don't feel as though I want to do it in a hospital setting. I think I want to venture out and do something different. So he was like, why don't you put together something? And if the bad outweighs the good, then you can look into something different and I'll support you. I was like, say less. So last night when I put the kids to sleep, I typed up 6 reasons why I'm burnt out from nursing, and I'm pretty sure there's other nurses that feel my pain and also burned out from nursing. So my first point is going to be system and policy changes. That's the one biggest reason in healthcare why people are leaving, because there's too much change. Like, there's new policies, there's new charting systems, new workflows, and on paper that sounds like an improvement. But in reality, it's like you're relearning your job while still doing your job. Like, how is that even a thing? There's no pause, there's no adjustment periods. You're just supposed to instantly just go while managing your patients, staying short staffed, and making sure nothing goes wrong. But let's be honest, things always go wrong when you are given a bad deck of cards. And over time, that creates a different kind of exhaustion. That's kind of where I'm at right now, because you're not just working, you're constantly trying to stay up. Point number 2 is going to be staffing. Staffing is another major reason why people are leaving. When facilities are short staffed, the work don't disappear. It just falls on the back of the people that's already there. So what could have been a manageable night, it turns ugly real soon. So I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who went to work, saw your assignment, and you're like, damn, it's about to be one of those nights. Or I knew I should have called out. Or if I had the body, I would be a stripper. Okay, I never thought that. But anyway, you still show up. You show up on an empty tank or half of a tank. You still do what you got to do. And it depends on your shift. Depending on your shift, right? You may skip your breaks. You may stay late, but you just push through exhaustion. And that's normal. That's normal. And that's really normal here in this healthcare system. And I feel as though this isn't right. This is not right. This is not having you set up for the best. So I call it the matrix. I'm not even kidding. I call it the matrix because everybody inside the matrix is okay with what's going on. And the people who's like on the outside, they see this isn't normal, which is going to be people in other countries. And they say like, this is not normal. This is not what we do in this country. And we're like, oh, but this is what we do here. And the nurses that are here that's slowly like leaving, they're like, you know what? I can't do it anymore. So they break out of the matrix. And I feel like I'm becoming one of them. At my hospital, if you stay past 7:45, you get coached. They deal you a bad set of hands on your in the beginning of your shift, but if you stay later, it's a problem. They want you to clock out by 7:45, but if you're not done with your work, they don't care. They want you to still stay there and finish it. So like if you still have notes you need to document or anything you need to do, you still have to do it, but you're not getting paid for it because you should have been able to manage your time. But how? That's another story. The third point is going to be emotional weight. Healthcare work is not just physical work. It's emotional work as well. You're there for people during the most hardest points in their life, whether it's pain, whether it's loss, whether it's fear, whether it's uncertainty. And you're just supposed to stay calm and just compose right through it. But the truth is, you don't just leave that work at work. You bring it home with you. How many people had a crazy night or a crazy day at work, and then at the end of their shift, they sit in their car longer than expected, and they're just like, what the heck was this? Like, what the heck just happened? Is that happening more often than not? And if so, like, what are we going to do about that? Because we're not supposed to go to work and we're miserable. Yes, we need the check. Yes, we need to make our money. Yes, we got to pay our bills. We got families. But at what point enough is enough? This is taxing on people's mental health. And they wonder why people are just going insane. I don't think soon America's going to have any nurses. Anyway, here's my fourth point. Patient and family dynamics. I mean, some patients are very kind, very appreciative, but let's be honest, we all experience some families or some patients that are downright miserable, rude, and entitled, and they just make your shift a living hell. And you can't say anything to them about it because the healthcare system backs their bad behavior up. You get some family members that's just like, meow, 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 meow. I'm mad. Meow, 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 meow. My mom want water. Meow, 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 meow. I need this. Meow, 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 meow. And you're like, I'm sorry. I was just trying to manage my time. I'm sorry. I had an emergency. I didn't mean to make you wait for some water. You can't say that. You can't, because if you do and you offend them, then you can possibly get in trouble for it. But how many ever experience a family member or a patient do that same thing to a doctor? I'll wait. I will wait because it doesn't happen. Doctors do not allow people to do stuff like that to them. As they should. As they should. You are not supposed to be disrespectful to the person that's taking care of you. And I'm not saying you can't speak up for yourself, but that level of disrespect that they are granted by the healthcare system to do to us nurses is diabolical. It's diabolical. I'm telling you, America's not going to have any nurses soon. Anyway, back to my PowerPoint. Y'all need to stay with me because we need to get up out of here. Anywho, meanwhile, nurses are expected to provide luxury care while working short staff, overworked without any real support from administration. And the reality is, healthcare workers are already dealing with high pressure situations every single day. Point number 5. No, back to point number 4. Nurses are the most visible part of the system. We're the ones at the bedside. We're the ones patients and family members see the most. So when something do go wrong or when things do feel out of control, the frustration is often geared to us. But it's not our fault because at the end of the day, we do not make the rules and we do not make orders. We just carry them out. So they don't want to take that same energy and push it onto the doctors because they're going to be shut down. But they do it to us because we're the easiest target. And it's okay. Don't worry about it. They are allowed to do that to us. They are even allowed to hit us, push us, spit on us, throw their urine on us when they get upset. And then we only ask, what happened? What could you have done differently? Like, do you not see? Did you not see? Can you not read the room? And the crazy thing is, when those type of patients and family members get to the floor, we already know the type of time that they're on. There's nothing put in place in an event that they do act out or have a kind of behavior. There's nothing. They still send us in there and we are still supposed to be. No. Point number 5. Healthcare workers are exposed to situations most people would never experience at all in their lives. From emergencies to life or death events or sudden changes in conditions. People don't see that regularly. We see it all the time. How do you think that makes us feel? How do you think we feel when we see someone that's up, walking, talking, and all of a sudden they crashing out? I've seen that. I've seen post-op patients walking the floor all fine, and all of a sudden they have a pulmonary embolism. How do you think that make us feel? But you want to know what? You can't cry about it. You just got to spring into action. And if you do cry about it, if you do feel sad about it, you're like, you can't do that because you're the nurse. You have to be strong. You can't cry and stuff in front of the patients or their family members. What do you mean we can't cry? We can't show emotion. We can't do that. We have to be expected to be like robots. We have to wear many hats with a smile on our face. And then you have some administrations come to the floor all big and bad like they're doing the damn thing. Not even nurses, don't even have any healthcare experience, but they telling us what we need to do and how we should do our jobs. Point number 6, low support and high expectations. There's a disconnect in healthcare that people really don't talk about. The high expectations. These expectations are sky high. I don't even think the people in administration can do it. They couldn't walk a mile in our shoes, but they want us to do every single thing in 12 hours. You're expected to catch everything, handle everything, stay calm under pressure, and never miss a detail because the stakes are high. The stakes are life and death. That pressure is put upon us every time we go to work. Every time we go to work, we're on our heels. We are up when we go to work. The anxiety, the stress comes the moment we clock in because we don't know what's going to happen. The uncertainty is real. You never know what you're going to be experiencing on a shift. But the support at all, you don't have it. It doesn't exist in the way it should. You can be short-staffed, overloaded with patients, running on exhaustion, and still expected to perform like everything is fully staffed and well-equipped. And if you tell a family member, I'm sorry, I can't get to this, or I can't do this right now, I have to prioritize because we're short-staffed, it makes the hospital look bad. But it's the truth. You can't tell them, oh, we're short-staffed. They can see that we're short-staffed. Then you have some that gives us grace. Then you have some that makes our life difficult. I need to talk to your manager. I need to talk to this person. I want to talk to the person highest in demand. The person that's on the highest and highest that they want to talk to have never probably walked the floor. Probably never cleaned a patient. Probably never even washed a person's face. And when something goes wrong, because it always will go wrong, especially when you're in a strained system, it rarely turns into a conversation about the environment. It turns into a question directed directly at you. What could you have done differently? Not, were you set up to succeed, or did you have the help you needed, or was this preventable on a system level? And there's where all the frustration comes in. That's where you get a whole bunch of angry nurses. Here's my other point. Stick with me. We're trying to get my husband convinced for me to leave. Because it's not just the pressure of the job. It's carrying the responsibilities for problems that was never ours in the beginning. And after a while, the weight doesn't stay at work if it comes home with you. And that's when things start to shift mentally, because it's no longer just stress. It becomes questioning your entire future. I mean, I did question, do I want to leave the bedside? Let me think about going to higher education. Then you got people like Linda McMahon. You know Linda McMahon, the lady who's married to Vince McMahon, WWE. She's the Secretary of Education. She's making nurses' life more difficult. They're trying to make the education for graduate school astronomical, making it not appeasing for any of us to want to go to grad school because we don't want to pay that bill back. We don't want to pay. We already have student loans that Biden was supposed to get rid of. And then we want to go to grad school, and those fees are crazy high. We're either we go and take that loss and go for the loan, or we just walk away from bedside. And soon America is going to be a nurseless country because we're not going to keep tolerating that. At what point enough is enough? At what point? Is not enough pizzas you can give us. There's not enough, oh, you're a hero. Because I'm not a hero anymore. I was a hero in 2020. I wore that like a badge of honor. But I'm not a hero. I don't even get pizza, and if I do, it's cold and missing some slices. At what point enough is enough? At what point do we just break out of this matrix and say, no, we're going to do things on our rules? Because that's what doctors do. They cannot do that kind of stuff to doctors, police officers, firefighters. They can't do that. We're the only ones who allow them to do that to us. We take that abuse because they know that we care. But at what point enough is enough? At what point enough is enough? And now you see doctors and nurses leaving by the boatload. You see Dr. Iggy? I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. He's getting his stuff and he is doing what makes him happy. That's called balance. I love that for him. People talking about him like they're not in the system, like they don't know what actually goes on because he wants to break free. And then you got what's his name? Dr. Gooby. He's the first one that really shedded so much light on what's going on in the healthcare system. He's the neurologist, over 20 years experience. And he just packed his shit and left too. Then you have Nurse Mercy. She was being bullied by her preceptor because nurses sometimes can be very nasty people. So you're already in a toxic environment. It's a whole bunch of toxicness going on. You just got to see what works for you and what's best for you. And you just got to do what you got to do. Because you know what? I am. So I put these reasons together and I told my husband I'm going to put it out there and see what people say. Do you guys agree with me? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Because I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to say my piece and let people know how it really is. Because enough is enough. Anyway, that's all I got. But I don't know. That's my reasons.